I'm okay. I'm totally fine.
Hello everybody, my name is Matt and this is Topic Tuesday. Whether you call it ki, chakra, quirks, the force or bending, they all have one thing in common.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Powers are a cornerstone to many action and adventure stories. It gives the characters abilities to be awed at and feared, and sends the struggles of our heroes to greater depths. But giving the world created abilities isn't a simple case of, okay, you can do this and have great power. There are rules that govern what can and can't be done. It's what separates relatable characters from the Mary Sues, though sometimes they can sneak in. But what are the rules? This differs from series to series, of course. Dragon Ball, of course, has a very loose rule set. Usually all it takes is a lot of training, more often than not simply pushing the limits of the body to beyond itself, and the higher the start point, the larger the multiplication of the base power. Of course, being a Saiyan seems to be a Suish trait, as Saiyans have the ability to multiply their powers through recovery. The greater the damage, the more power they gain, and then they have a genetic advantage over almost all species in their universe. In Naruto, chakra is more based in rules. It states how it works. The chakra is increased by training, but requires certain hand signs to use, or a degree of focus. And then there are additions to this, such as elemental chakra, bloodline abilities, and an array of ninja tools. A good example of powers is the quirk from My Hero Academia. Like the mutant powers from Marvel Comics, characters are born with special abilities, each with their own unique traits that require training to improve, as we watch the students of UA High at least come to grips with their own strengths and weaknesses. And that's pretty much what a power structure is, strength and weakness. To create one, powers shouldn't be simple and easy to use, as the concept of Full Metal Alchemist states, equivalent exchange. There must be a balance between power and repercussions. For instance, the more power you have, the greater need for caring using it. Hard on heroes who want to keep collateral damage low, but for villains, a greater show of strength when they can blast away civilians and entire cities. To me, this comes down to three basic concepts. The first is how the energy is stored. This could be a physical trait, as in your body produces the energy, like chakra. It could be a connection or manipulation of an energy field, like the Force, or an extra-dimensional or magical energy. Or it could be connected to an energy source, such as a battery pack or magical item. Secondly, in all instances, there would be a limit to the power, whether depleting the energy for a time or some kind of physical strain on the body. In the manga Freezing, the higher the energy a Pandora uses, the more quickly her body begins to deteriorate. In My Hero Academia, most of the characters have physical issues with their powers that they must either overcome or at least lessen the backlash. Deku with his bone-shattering power, and Duravity with her throwing up, for instance, all physical consequences to using their individual powers. Which of course brings me to the third concept, consequences. Every power must have a consequence in my opinion, whether it's just how much energy it takes for the overall stored amount, time it takes to use, or the aforementioned physical backlash to the user. But there are others, such as being in certain situations or states of mind. In Naruto, using Sage energy requires a calm mind to use. In My Hero Academia, Tokuyami gains more power in darkness. Almost all abilities have a weakness or a price for using them. Once again, this harks back to the Full Metal Alchemist and equivalent exchange. Additionally, and as almost a side concept to consequences and limits, is the weakness of the power itself. I mentioned Tokuyami's power increases with situations of darkness, but in the opposite effect, his power diminishes in the light. I firmly believe a power should have a weakness. In Naruto, different chakra elements are weak or strong against different types. In the beginning of My Hero Academia, there is a scene where several heroes cannot stop a bad guy because their quirks and skills are incompatible with the situation. Abilities that only require energy, like in Dragon Ball, usually have a simple weakness, like energy consumption or being blocked by other powers. But the more complex the ability, the harder it is to use, which is itself a weakness. And there are abilities that require a sacrifice of some sort, a mental one, a physical one, much of which I have gone over, and some that have other consequences that may not be immediate or even affect the character using it. Overall, power sets shouldn't be lazily thrown together, even if they look like they have. The rules of the universe you create must affect everyone equally, from the weakest warrior to the ones that seem like gods. But you may wonder, what's the point? You can't say, it's more realistic, can you? In a way you can. Our world, our lives are built on the struggle to improve, to fight against the odds, to succeed or fail by our own power, or the help given by those around us. So when we judge a character's power, we judge it by those standards, by how a person struggles in gaining strength, what they must do and how it affects them, even if we can never claim to have those powers. If a character comes along who has no struggle, who has unlimited power, without trying or consequence, pretty much being a god, we cannot fully associate with their position and end up calling it undeserving and name them a Mary Sue. But as always, that's just my thought on the matter, and if you would like to leave your own thoughts, or perhaps if you have questions on this topic, or perhaps you just simply want to say anything like hi, or if you enjoyed this video, then comment below. Did you like how this was done? Was it simple or confusing? What other topics, themes or tutorials would you like to see from me? I'd like to hear from you, so comment below. You can also find me on some social media, all links are below in the description. If you like the video, please leave a like by hitting the thumbs up, and if you would like to keep up to date on when I post a video, then feel free to hit that subscribe button. But for now, thank you for watching, listening, and enjoy your day.